All right, we got ourselves a good little project for today. We got Miss Janice's 2017 Infiniti QX80 here. So she's having the super common problem with the LED backlights going out on her gauge cluster, and it's driving her crazy. So if you take a look here, you'll see 40 and 60 is not lit up, 80 and 20 is, 5 and 6 on the RPM side. So that's just a bunch of LEDs on the circuit board on that gauge cluster going out. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna show you how to get it out of there, and then we're gonna fix it. That may or may not be something you're comfortable doing. Just watch the video and see, and if not, I will have links in the description to places you can send it off to get it repaired, but it's really not too bad of a task. And God, that beeping's annoying. But yeah, let's get right into it. I'm gonna grab some tools and I'll show you where to start. So we're gonna get right into it. Before I do, I will say that I'm gonna use some like specialty trim stick tools, and anything else that I use, I will link in the description below, and I'll put a link up here for the trim removal tools right now, but we're gonna get right into it. So the repair guide says we need to strip basically all of the paneling, pull the center console, strip the glove box out, pull the airbag, and like pull the upper finisher off of the dash. I'm pretty sure it's wrong though. So we're gonna go into this a little bit different here. I've had a Murano, which is a very similar style dash, just smaller, all tore apart once before, and it was not that complicated. So if we have to do that, we will. But for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on this lower finisher panel here, and we're gonna get behind this with our trim tools, and we're gonna start popping it because it has retaining clips that hold it up on the top side here. And then see if we can't pop this panel free and get it coming down. I want to see, a lot of times they'll put little 7mm fasteners up here on the bottom, but it doesn't appear this has any, and I don't even know that we need to get that all the way off. I just want to release it from the top side here because I think this finisher panel on the gauge cluster just comes off on its own. Then we can access the cluster and get it out of there without taking any of that gobbledygook off. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting the steering wheel all the way in the upward position, and now let's get in here and start popping with our trim sticks. So these are called trim removal tools. They are made out of plastic, so that way it's harder to damage the plastic that you are pulling and prying on. But we're gonna get right in here. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at how easy that just came back. Oop. Let's get in here. Oop. Okay. Okay. I have no idea why my phone was making that kind of sound. No idea whatsoever. Ah, there we go. All right. So we got that loose. We got our vent line there. If we want to take this all the way off, we'll pull that. Oh, we do have a screw on this side. Okay, look, so we actually have a torque screw hidden behind this little finisher plate right here that covers the fuse panel. So that goes in there like that. Pop that off. Now we have a Torx bit, so we need to take that Torx off, and then we can pull this whole thing forward. All right, so I haven't even taken that Torx out yet. What I did is I reached my hand up underneath this little lip right here and gave it a hard pull over where the push to start is. And now this finisher panel is starting to unclick perfectly. So I want to pull this first because I think we might be able to fish it out without even completely dropping that lower panel. So let's see. Ow. Ow. These clips are tight, no doubt about that. There we go. Hey! Now we can unplug these plugs. We're gonna piss the car off big time though if we unplug that push to start while the vehicle is off. But I think if we unplug this control and just kind of flip it over, we should be able to unbolt the gauge cluster and just get it out of here right now. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So this plug up here should have a squeeze tab on it. It does. Wham bam dunzo, man. Same with this one. Something important to note also is to make sure you keep track of where the wiring harness is, because like this one on this side is running up and it actually push pins in down here, so we're gonna have to pop that puppy out. But you'll see on here it's just a little squeezy tab, and then we'll pop that push pin out, and then we should be able to like pull this out and carefully flip it over Although I'll unplug everything if I have to. And then, yeah, we'll expose the gauge cluster and we'll get it out of there. All right, so here I used my fork and I popped that push pin out. You can see it right there. So now, let's see what kind of slack we have to flip up over this direction. That looks pretty daggum good, and we're not rubbing on any leather or anything, causing damage. Cool, now let's see if we can fish this gauge cluster out here. It's got 4 Phillips screws, one down there, one up there, that corner, that corner. All right, I'm down to my last screw here. I just wanted to show you, I'm just going in with a regular old screwdriver, PH2 Phillips, and then taking it out. I also brought a magnet stick with me. It seems to be holding pretty good though on the screwdriver, but just in case, I didn't want to drop it down below because I wasn't sure how easy it would be to fetch. But there we go, all 4 screws are out. Now, I do believe this puppy should be able to fish forward and wiggle out of here. We'll drop it down just like that. Got 1 plug in the back here that I see. That is the entire harness. Oh, fuck. I gotta drop the steering wheel. All right, move the steering wheel to its lowest position. We tilted it forward, unplugged it. Now let's fish it out of there. Oh, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Ooh, look at that. All right, it's got 1 singular plug on the back right there. I'll show it to you now. That plug has 1 squeeze tab on the top side. You just get it with your thumbnail like that and unplug. There you have it. The gauge cluster is out, and we did not pull the center console or the dash or the airbags or any of that nonsense like the repair guide called for. So now we're gonna go hit the workstation and start pulling this cluster apart and see if we can't solder some new LEDs on it. All right, here we are. We're on the kitchen table. We're actually gonna bounce around to a couple different locations for this, but for now, we're gonna start splitting this thing apart. So you'll notice it has all these little tabs right here. We're gonna lift those with a screwdriver or our fingers and release them. Yeah. We're gonna go all the way around, and we're gonna do that for this back panel and this front panel. Shisha.
Are you recording this?
Yeah. Everybody gets to listen to how retarded you really are, Bill.
Did you hear that part bounce across the kitchen?
Yeah, we broke a tap. Hey! If you get a trim stick and just gently pry, you can get it right off of that backside as well. So here we go. We've exposed some bit of circuit board here, but not the right bit. So the next step is going to be to pull these needles off of these motors here. All right, we're down to needle removal. So I took this one off on this side. You'll notice there's 2 distinct pieces now. So I have seen that this is a very tricky part to get this done. I fished a fork under here and got it to click out. We're gonna try and get this one clean. If you catch the edge of this little black piece, it's basically guaranteed to come off. So we can dabble a little dab of super glue and drop it back in to repair it. Just like that, and we'll just hold it down and repair it into one unit, so it's not a huge ordeal. But we need to pop all the needles off, just like so. So let me see if I can show you, and let's see if we can get this one off clean here. So I'm gonna use the little plastic fork here. We're gonna very carefully try and get up under it, and hopefully not take the black off, which we are going to take the black off. This is how it seems. There we went. There it went. Oh, the black is off again. Yeah. Then we get right up under here. So you'll see the tricky part here is there's this little bevel. So you need to get up in between that bevel to pop these off of the stepper motor. And then you're just lifting up and it comes right off like that. Wahoo! All right, all the needles are off. Full disclosure, we're gonna be doing some super gluing. I got one to come off in one piece, so we will reassemble these. If they don't click together well, we'll super glue them, but I'll pick that up whenever I get to it. For now, we flip the gauge over, so you'll see, I guess with no needles on it, it's nice and empty. Flip it over. We need to undo the LCD screen, so you take these little white tabs and you pull them down. Sorry. Just like that. Now we should be able to slide this ribbon out whenever we get to there. But for now, we're going to pull these 3 little Phillips screws, and then we just got to push all these tabs back, and we should be able to separate the circuit board from the backside of the viewable cluster. Okay, here we go. These are tighter than the damn screws that held the cluster into the core. Holy guacamole. I'm pretty sure these hold the screen down to the board is what they're doing. Okay. Now, okay. Okay, just like that. Now you gotta be careful pulling these little ribbons here. The locks should be released. This is actually a goofy style ribbon. Oh God, sorry. It's hard to do this with a camera, but we need to carefully pull this ribbon.
6.5 hours later.
All right, this screen was actually quite a pain in the butt to get off, so I ended up, you have to get your finger up on this little edge here and give it a good pull. But if you look, you want to make sure you're on this brown part out here that doesn't have any traces on it. Just pull it right out of the slot. I don't even know that this needs to come off, honestly, but we are going to be hitting this with a heat gun to swap all of these LEDs. But there they are. All of the ones in the white circles are what we are after. Before I head over to Clayton's to swap the actual LEDs, I wanted to show you. So these ones that came apart, they have these little pieces on the bottom, and it looks like they separate cleanly. So you slide it in. And get it to click into position like that. And then you can snap it back into the little cover. The last one went in just fine. Took a good amount of squeezing though. And then it comes back out and it's one piece like this. And if we need to put a dabble of super glue in there, we can. So that's how we're going to get our needles all put back together, and then we're going to swap these LEDs, and then it's reassembly time. All right, here we are. We're over at Mr. Clayton's house, and we got his heat gun box, which is going at what looks like 319 degrees Celsius. This little air thing. This is definitely the ideal way to do this, I would say. But if you check this out, we got tweezers. I've already done one side of it. We will just grab a hold of an LED and just hit it with the heat gun to liquefy the solder. And once it liquefies, it'll pop right off of here, just like that. Go into our discard pile. Now, I do believe orientation is important on these. So they have a little like chopped off corner, and you want to make sure you line that up the right way. And then I just hold this new one in, just like this, re-liquefy the solder, pull it off, let it cool. Wham bam dunzo, man. So everywhere with a white circle is getting replaced with the upgraded version of the LED. So let me get these swiped out, and then we'll put it back together and show you the results. All right, so all the LEDs are done replaced, which you'll see here. There's a couple of them that I'm a little tiny nervous about. So I'm gonna take this circuit board. I put the LCD like you saw back on. We're gonna plug it in. Okay, now let me see if I can get you a view of this. Now, everything else is cosmetic on this here board. So we're gonna set it just like this. We're going to key it up. Where's the key? You shit me right now? I swear I had the key on me. All right, I think I lost the key. I'll be right back. I gotta go find the daggum key. All right, here we go. We've now recovered the key. Moment of truth. Let's make sure our LCD, that works. Oh, let's turn this off. I got lots of LEDs, none of the ones I put her on. A singular one that I put on is on right now. Do I need to start it? Let's start it. Or did we get almost all of these bad? Oop. We have one. We have two bulbs that are working. Look there. Well, now they're off, but they were working. And that bulb is working constantly. All right, back to the heat gun. Ladies and gentlemen, back to the heat gun. All right, we have finally figured this out. So the problem is that the contact with the heat gun wasn't quite good enough, except for on one LED. So I've gone and added a little bit of solder to every side. My setup is not the best for this, and it is ugly, but you have a lot of wiggle room with these LEDs, so it's not that big of a deal. This whole side now works after testing, so I'm gonna come add solder to the sides of this one's over here. You'll see I already did 21. They're also wired in series in potentially pairs, potentially more. I haven't decided yet. But so if one that is out in front of another, then the other one won't work either. But yeah, Clayton also says there is something called, what's it called? Solder paste?
Yeah, you could probably also do this with solder paste and just put a little bit of solder paste on the bottom of the pads of the new LEDs, set it in there.
And then heat gun it.
There's just a lack of solder problem.
And that would look way better, but we don't need this to be visually stunning. We need this to work. So we are well on our way. We just have this circle here to do. And then we're gonna test and put it back together. Come on. Oh, hot diggity dog, there she is. They are all working. Come on. So I know it's dark in here, but I'm just gonna give you a quick little chat. What we learned here is that you need to add a little extra solder if you use the heat gun to pull the LEDs. But I will say, even if you've never messed with a circuit board before, this is actually a good one to learn on. I will have links to like the hot gun and the soldering irons and stuff if you don't have any of that equipment. It's still way cheaper than buying a gauge cluster, but if for any reason that you're worried about it, I would just use one of those online repair places. But hopefully this helps somebody figure it out, and if it did, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you want to see more.